Good morning. Good morning. And I'm going to take a minute to pop into a couple of places and let people know that I'm live. So as you're showing up, make sure you say hello, good morning. And if you haven't given StreamYard permission to see who you are, then make sure you let me know who you are. All right. So I'm going to be going around. Oh, where am I? Here are my groups. Nope, that's the wrong one. Hold on, I'm working on it. This technical stuff sometimes it's definitely a something that helps me learn more and more all the time. All right. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Where is it? Hold on. Okay, there it is. All right. So let me get back. There we are. So, good morning. I woke up this morning and I've had it's kind of an odd experience, and I even already wrote in my journal about it. But you know how, well, you may not, but anyway, time is an illusion, right? And so this morning, I got up at the regular time and I'm going about and doing my normal things at my normal pace. And I'm one of those people, I get up a lot earlier than I need to be live here because I like going at a leisurely pace. I do not like to rush when it comes time to, to getting ready and that kind of thing, because then it kind of sets me up for a day that I feel like I'm behind all day, right? And I don't like that. So I give myself extra time. And so this morning I was in there, I was doing my thing, same pace as normal. And I went to the kitchen and I got some coffee and went back to my room and I was getting ready. And all of a sudden I looked at my watch and I thought, oh my gosh, it's almost time to get on the live. And so then I started saying, okay, let me get this done. And I had my makeup done and my hair done, but I didn't have I wasn't dressed completely yet. So I'm getting dressed and everything. And I come in here to the office and I sit down and I'm getting everything set up and I get my journals and my affirmation and my journal prompt, and I'm pasting it in there, which today it finally let me paste. But I did send them a message yesterday and said something screwy right here, so can you fix it? So hopefully that's what, it doesn't matter what did it, but today it's working. So anyway, I get it and I'm ready and I look at it because I'm thinking I don't want to go on too early. And I look and it's 8 o'clock. It's not 9 o'clock. And I know that when I looked at my watch, it said it was 8:45. And so it's like, where did that all that extra time come from? And so I figured, because at that point I usually do a little bit of reading in the morning, I do my journaling and all that, and I hadn't done that yet because all of a sudden I felt like I needed to rush to get some of these things done. And I thought, I did stop and put some dishes away, and I was doing a few little things but shouldn't have really taken that much time. And so I even said in my journal entry today, thank you, God, for giving me this extra hour to get my stuff done. And so it's just interesting. So I just wanted to share, that's how my morning's gone. And I just feel so blessed. I had the extra hour. And some of you may say that you probably looked at your watch wrong. Doesn't matter, does it? I thought I had to be there right then and I didn't. So I had an extra hour that I wasn't anticipating. And then another thing happened this morning. I was looking at my calendar and I've got a podcast guest tonight that I'm really super excited about sharing his story. And so I was excited about that. And then I look and I've got a message in my messenger inbox of someone who says that they want to tell their story and they want me to tell it. And it's like, oh, how delicious is that? Because, I'm one of those, I love telling people stories, and that's what I love about my podcast. And so I'm all the time in different groups and different pages, and just meeting people and hearing their story and saying, oh, I'd love to have you on my podcast. And to have someone reach out to me and tell me that they have this story, and they gave me a little snippet, and I thought, oh, yes. So we'll see what happens, but I was super excited to have that happen this morning. So, the morning has just started and I already feel very, very blessed. And so I will share, if you're not feeling blessed in the moment, then you need to back up a minute and you need to see the things in your life that are blessings. Like my best friend, her mother passed away day before yesterday. And so what they're dealing with right now is very different, right? And so you woke up this morning and if you can see, you can see. And if you can't, you have other senses. And there's so many things in our life that we can find as blessings. We just have to pay attention and look for them. All right. So like I said, if you're, when you show up, make sure you say good morning. Let me know that you're here. And if you haven't given StreamYard permission to see your name, your contact, your information, then make sure you share that when you say hello, because I am streaming in different places. And I want to make sure that I acknowledge you for being here live, right? And if you're watching the replay, make sure you put #replay and remember the goal of this group. The amazing thing that we do every single day is we do something, no matter how big or how small, that is self-care for us. And we share that in the group so that we inspire others. Good morning, Lynn. We not only inspire others with our posting, but we inspire ourselves and we reiterate to our subconscious mind that we are important and that we are diligent in doing the things that we say we're going to do. And one of those is not only doing the self-care, but sharing it in the group so that we inspire the whole community and we can all come together and say, yay, right? I want to celebrate you. And so every time you share, I make a point to go in there as much as I can and celebrate the fact that you came to the live or that you showed up for the replay or that you've posted something, because it all means such an amazing thing to me. All right, so let's get to our affirmation for the morning. Let me share that. Whoops. And I'm so grateful this thing has, oh gosh, hold on a second. I'm missing something here, so let me get back to it. So give me just a second. Where's it at? There we go. Since I had that extra hour this morning, I was copy and pasting a bunch of stuff, and I missed my. I forgot that I hadn't loaded up the next thing. All right. So our affirmation for today is: today I let go of my limitations and embrace the lessons. And there are so many times in our lives. Oh, hold on a second. Speaking of, hold on. Allergies means I'm alive, right? So we have limitations. Some of them we're born with, some of them we're born into, some of them happen to us as we're going, right? But are they really limitations? Because one of the things that I've said in my, that on my podcast, I love sharing people's stories. And what I love about people's stories is so many times. And these are the type of people I love having on my podcast, is that they've had, some are small adversities, some are huge. And I know whatever happens to us feels huge no matter what anybody else's is, right? But they've gone through and something's happened to them that's changed the trajectory of their lives, whether it was some catastrophe that changed everything, or it was an epiphany that came to them, or whatever it may be. But the things that happen to us in our lives make us who we are today. And the thing is that everything is a growth opportunity. And one of the things I was talking with someone the other day about, is that when you get something that happens in your life, maybe it's just a little whisper and you don't pay attention. And then the voice gets a little bit louder, and then it gets a little bit louder, and then things start happening. And if you don't pay attention as things are going, then it's a baseball bat knocking you to your knees, and then you recognize the lesson. So limitations that you have, whatever they are there to actually change where you're going. And so it's like you're on a road, and then all of a sudden you see a sign that says detour, go to the right, and you don't know where the hell that street even goes. And it almost, if you're in a place that you're familiar with certain areas and not this area that it's sending you to, you can kind of feel like, oh, now I don't know how long it's going to take me to get where I need to go. I don't know. But that is taking you around something to something. And so all of our perceived limitations in our life are sending us somewhere, right? And so, some people, like if a person can't hear, that is a limitation or a perceived limitation, because then they become so able to read lips, to do so much. And I had someone on my podcast that had been a very, very physical person. She taught PE, and she did triathlon. She did all these different things. And she was out riding her bicycle, if this tells you anything, her bicycle out in the mountains of Colorado. And she got hit by a car and was partially paralyzed. And that changed her whole direction in life, because everybody was so good to her, and they helped her with the physical therapy, and the nurses were amazing, and the doctors were amazing. And she decided then and there she wanted to become a nurse, even though she's now in a wheelchair and people said she couldn't do it. But one of the things that she said was, watch me. And she did it. Now, a lot of people would have been in that position, and they would have said, well, now I can't be physical. I can't do any of the things that I wanted to do in my life, and woe's me. And they would have just sat and been sad and went inside and really been where they embrace their limitations instead of their lessons. And that's what I'm getting at. We can have all kinds of things going on for us, and we can either perceive them as the limitations, the reason, the excuse that holds us back, or we can look at it as the lesson and figure out what it is we can do because of that, or in spite of that. And I had a conversation with someone just the other day, and they were telling me all these horrible things that had happened in her life, and there were a lot. And so I asked her, I said, so what was the lesson? What was the learning that you got out of that? What was the gift that it gave you? And she looked at me and she went right on with all of her limitations. And so we can stay in victimhood, or we can find something that is that we can learn from it and become better, right? And so that's what this affirmation is about today. And there are some days I say I get up and there's I have some affirmations and journal prompts that I've created quite a long time ago, and I go through them. And then every now and then there's a morning that I get up and suddenly it's like, oh, this is what I need to talk about today. And that's what today was. I don't know why. And however, this is what the affirmation was that was in my heart this morning. So I don't know who will benefit from hearing this. Maybe that's you, Lynn. I don't know. But maybe it's someone that's going to watch the replay. I don't know. However, this was what I wanted to talk about today. And because we all have limitations, all of us, even the people that you admire tremendously, they have limitations. They've just decided to embrace the lesson instead of owning the limitation, right? Because the thing is, and we've talked about this many, many times, what you focus on is what you perceive, what you get, right? What you notice. And so it's like when I bought my Prius, I didn't really know much about them. I just thought it was a cool idea. And this has been years ago, and I never saw them on the street. Never. Well, I might see them every now and then, but it was like, not really. And after I bought that car, I could go to the grocery store and come out and they'd be parked all around me. And it wasn't like they suddenly dropped out of the sky and they were beacon to me. It was that they were there all the time. I just didn't see them. And so it's the same with limitations. If you have limitations and that's what you focus on instead of the lesson, then you're going to notice more and more and more limitations. There are going to be people around you that point out your limitations. There are going to be things that you see in social media that point out your limitations. It is what you are honed in on, sorry, that gets your attention and manifest around you. And like I said, it's not like with the car that suddenly there were Priuses everywhere that were manifested out of the air. No, that's not what happened. What happened was when I had a different car and I walked out to my car, I didn't notice the damn Priuses because that was not in my field of vision. I didn't care. There was nothing about them that drew me to them, right? And so it was the fact that now that I had a Prius and I was out and that was my focus, that's what I had every day. That is when I saw the Priuses on the street, in the parking lot. And, so it is, what are you focusing on, right? So Lynn, I don't know you if you're where you can type in, but if you've ever noticed that in your life that something happens to you and then suddenly, people are pointing out things that might be limitations or anything like that. I know I have. And so if you could share this morning, that would be great. And if you're working or whatever and you're not able to, I perfectly understand. So I will just keep going because I don't know whether you're here watching and participating or if you're listening and just saying good morning. I don't know. All right. So now let's get to the journal prompt. Okay. A journal prompt is make a list of your perceived limitations and list the lessons that you learn from it. Because when we do that, we move out of victimhood. We move out of limitation, because then when we think of what happened to us, we're reliving the lesson. We're learning something and we're changing our lives. And the main thing is when you're looking at the lesson that you learned, let's phrase it in a way that is not a victim either. So it's like, let's say, for instance, somebody cheated you out of, I figured as much, Lynn. It's not like, if somebody cheated you out of money, it's not like, I'll never let an asshole take advantage of me again. That's, the lesson is, maybe it is be more diligent in who I loan money to or who I invest with. That I am powerful if I let my intuition guide me. And so it's those kinds of things. So let's phrase things as the lesson and not phrase it in the victim place. if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense, because a lot of times um, we can actually become a victim in our lesson if we're phrasing it in the victim spot. Like I shared um, a story not too long ago about a guy who I dated that I found out was a serial cheater. And, and so the lesson that I learned from that is that I have amazing intuition when I listen. And so what I my lesson from that is to listen to my intuition and let it guide me, and not let someone else, convince me otherwise, because I had intuition strikes, early on in that relationship that I ignored because I liked him. Oh, he was fun and he was sexy and he was romantic and he was a lot of the different things that I wanted in a partner. And, and I had this list of all the things that I wanted in a partner, and he hit well, not all of them, a bunch of them, right? And so one of the lessons I learned was that be careful what you ask for, and to make sure you are diligent in deciding what you really want, not what you don't want. So I went back and revised my list to where a romantic partner has pet names for me, but only me. It's not pet names that they have for other people, and that they want to be with me, and they are attentive, and they are faithful. I mean, so I went in and revised. So he was a great lesson. And I had a hell of a good time when I was dating him until it was not so good. So I learned so many things about what I love in a relationship with this guy. And so I was able to look at it in a different way. Instead of being the victim of what happened, I was able to look at it and say, I didn't listen to my intuition there and there and there and there. That's never going to happen again. And I learned all these little things when I was excited and happy in that relationship. There were some things that I learned that I love in a relationship that I didn't even know. And I learned some communication skills that I didn't have before. So I can find so many gifts and lessons that I learned in that relationship, even though it went to shit big time. So where in your life do you have this limitation, something that's happened to you, or maybe it's a physical thing that has happened to you? I have, I had somebody on my podcast that had actually had what was it? It was they got shot and had to learn to walk and learn to talk and get their memory back and all these different things. And that created some limitations, especially in the beginning, because he was in recovery for a very long time. But in those limitations, he actually learned to write, became a speaker at the end, and goes and talks to schools, because he was in high school, I believe, if I remember right. And he talks to high school people about being aware of your environment and how things can change just like that. And so he built something amazing out of this limitation that he had. And as he came out of that, he was a totally different person. And your limitations, could be something, I'm assuming it's something totally different, but we all have them. And let's think about this. One of the phrases that I've heard many, many times is that most people, if you knew what's going on in their lives, you wouldn't trade your limitations and your things that have gone wrong in your life for theirs at all. You would accept and embrace yours. And your limitations, your the things that you've had to come through and overcome have made you who you are. And You are amazing. Even if sometimes you don't recognize it, you are amazing. And so I want to leave it there. And thank you so much, Lynn, for being here and listening. And make sure that you share in the group, which you do. Good morning, Facebook user. Who are you? You have to let me know. And so I'm so glad to have you here. And I can't. Let's see. Let me see if I can look real quick. Boop. Jean Green. I looked for you. I looked real quick. Good morning, Jean. And I'm actually, later on today when I have an opportunity, because I'll be starting work in a few moments, I will be going in and doing a little tutorial on how you can go in and you can have your name start showing up with StreamYard. Because I walked someone through it the other day and I didn't realize that I had not been explaining it very well. However, I will be doing that. And if anybody that wants to, I won't be able to put out everyone though, because I already used that this morning. So anyway, I'll put it there and I'll pin it to the top so that you can see it and go in and let StreamYard know who you are. So the next time you pop up here, I'll know exactly who you are. So thank you for being here this morning, Jean. And so we've just been talking so much about our affirmation and our journal prompt. And our affirmation today, I let go of my limitations and embrace the lessons. And then our journal prompt, make a list of your perceived limitations and list the lessons that you learned from it. And I'll reiterate, make sure that you are, when you are listing the lessons you learned from it, that you look at it, you list it as a lesson and not as another layer of your victimhood. So, and you'll have to come back and watch the whole thing to understand what that means. If you're unsure, come back and rewatch. And so, because I have to get off here in just a minute, because I have work I have to get to. And so anybody that is actually watching this that's not part of the Make Lasting Change group, I want to invite you to come into the group, and you go to VickiePoole.com. That's VickiePoole.com. Answer the questions to be part of the community, because I love this community. It is such an amazing group of people, like-minded people that are stretching and growing and learning, and I love it. And we want to protect that community so that everybody that really is there for the reasons of community. And so if you answer the questions, you are entered into the group. Voila! But if you don't answer the questions, all of the questions, then to me that signals a level of you're not really in it to win it, to be a part of the community. And so I know sometimes people start answering questions, something happens, or I've had it before where I actually hit the button and I hadn't answered them all, whatever. So I try to reach out to everyone that does that and just send them a message and say, hey, please answer the questions. And I give them a certain amount of time. And if they don't answer, then I just delete them off and they have to come back in and try again. And I don't want that to be your experience. I want you, if this is something that you enjoy doing, and like I said, this is streaming out to several different places, but Monday, our learning day, our celebration day, our community day, Monday, that's only in the Make Lasting Change group. And then we have speakers sometimes that are only in the Make Lasting Change group. Now, speaking of speakers, I just want to let everybody know, and I am going to be streaming it out in different places, but at 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday, the 11th, I have Christine coming in, and she's going to be, she's a chef, and she is going to be sharing with us some healthy recipes that are done quickly and easily. And she's going to demonstrate some stuff. I don't know what else she's going to do, but I'm so excited to get to see what's going on. And so make sure you're there. And if in the Make Lasting Change group, there is an event that shows it. And then I actually have an event, it's listed on Eventbrite as well. And it is going to be amazing. And then I have another person that's already scheduled for coming in April. And I've got more in the queue to talk to about coming in and sharing their expertise with you guys, because it's not just about these affirmations and our celebrations and stuff. There's different things that everybody's dealing with. And I see the list every time somebody joins the group. There, it creates this spreadsheet that shows me what are people really needing help with. And so I'm going into that and depicting what I want to work on the Monday lives. And so, again, I need to hop off here. I'm getting very long winded, but I am so happy to have you here today, Jean and Lynn, for being here, and anybody else that's popped in that I haven't noticed. And when you watch the replay, thank you so much for being here for the replay. And remember, go in and share your self-care for the day with hashtag Peachy Vibes, and let the community celebrate you, and you can celebrate the community. All right. So tomorrow is, what is today? Today is Friday. Oh, tomorrow's Saturday. And I will be here at 9 a.m. Eastern again with another affirmation and journal prompt for you. And in the meantime, remember, make a list of your perceived limitations and list the lesson that you learned from it. Because, oh my gosh, that is going to be so amazing to look back at. And later on. Oh, and I almost forgot. Make sure your affirmation is on your sticky note, your mirror. Like I think, Lynn, I think it's you that goes in and puts it on your mirror as well, right? And then put it on your mirror, like I said, with the chalk marker. And then you can put it as your screensaver. You can put it on a piece of paper somewhere. I don't care, as long as you can see it. And then your journal prompt, put it in your journal or your notebook so that you can come back later and see how much you've grown. All right. Once again, I mean, it's like some people have so many intros. I have so many exits, right? All right. And thank you that you enjoy the prompts and the affirmations, because that's the only reason I do these, is for you guys. And so if it ever gets to the place where I don't feel like you are getting the benefit from it and really wanting to share this time with me, then I may do it differently. But until then, all right. Love you guys. See you later. Mwah.